Hi, I'm Sue Ann,
And I'm Amber.
and this is Soul Lightwork. We're excited that you're here today to join us. We again have a couple of topics that we came up with to discuss and share with you. The first one that we'd like to talk about is work, and or the lack thereof. I was very fortunate. I had two parents that were married 69 years, and both of them never, any day that I can recall personally, came home and said, "Man, I hate my job. God, I hate working." Neither one of them ever said that. What I did hear from them is occasionally, "Boy, that was a challenging day. Boy, so-and-so was very challenging to work with today. Man, I was irritated today." But never that they hated to work. Their example, both of them were high energy people in human design. They were obviously generators, get her done. And I felt mom's frustration. She was born in 1924 and definitely would have done well in college. A very, very smart woman. They chose to do many things in their life. My mother had a lot of energy, a lot of motivation, a lot of drive, and later in life realized, she said to me, she goes, "I wish I would have been satisfied with what I had at the time I had it." Dad was a printer by trade after World War II. That's what he was trained in, but his passion was for farming. We owned a 100-acre farm for part of our life. My mother then came up with the idea of how to help the brothers go to college by selling the farm and buying a motel. And our business primarily revolved around truckers. And we had a great group of people that would bring families at that time with them during the summer to stay at our motel. They expanded it, they enlarged it. Mom was a big thinker. And then we were on the main drag, and the interstate opened up that took away all the trucking business. They then sold the motel and bought acreage thinking they would make a subdivision. In the meantime, Dad had to work, so he actually ended up working at age 55 in the steel mills and worked there until he was 69. My mom and he both attended classes to get real estate degrees and certification. They both passed their tests. My mom went on to become a broker. She, in her earlier years, actually was a florist for a short time. I think real estate was her passion. She did own a antique store for a short time. They were very social-minded, active in a church, active in an organization called Grange, which still exists. It was a kind of based in farming community in the past, in the 1800s. But they did a lot.
I feel like, just from listening to your story of Grandma and Grandpa, you can try many different things.
That's right. And that leads me into what they did tell me. And my brothers, they also said it to them too. Do anything you want in life, but like what you do. And so that's kind of been my modus operandi. And I, fortunately, also lucked into a career that I loved. And I was 18 when I discovered that there was a program called radiology technology. Became an x-ray tech that I did for 4 years. I then was able to learn on the job how to do CAT scanning. I did that for 7 years, and then my clock went off. CAT scan was an amazing changes. That's why I'm so excited for the future. There's going to be continued changes. I've already experienced so many that, and my father, from farming horses to now, where there was computers. We laugh in these conversations, new school, old school, and we mentioned that to my father at one time, and he was so funny sometimes. He said, "What does that make me?" And we said, "Well, that makes you ancient school." So he laughed. He was a great natured man. So we also had the caregiving. So that's in me. And what I found by choosing the medical field, I was able to care for people and try to help them through what sometimes is very scary. In my Saturn return, I went back to school and worked part-time and went through a divorce all at the same time in my Saturn return, and became an ultrasonographer. And that carried me through for the next 30 years of my career, happily so. Of those 30 years, 19 were spent where I was an entrepreneur, as my parents had been in many ways. And very satisfying for me, and turned out better than my wildest dreams. And I was a single mom, and it was a big risk to leave my hospital setting where I'd been a staff person of 15 and a half years. So I left, vacation and the retirement plan, and it was a lot to leave. But what it afforded me was the time I wanted to spend with my daughter. And I didn't have to take call and be away. I could set my hours, and I truly was grateful for that opportunity and benefited. And I think my daughter benefited from me being more present than I would have been on the 40-hour week, 9 to 5. Then I also had to change and shift gears because of the healthcare change that I mentioned in a prior session in 2008 and the crash and all that, and Obamanized healthcare, a much more socialized situation, where I then became an employee again for the last 6 years of my 42-year career total. And where I discovered there is I have worked with a lot of good people. And I have to honestly say the last 6 years of that career that involved a clinic situation were some of the best people I've ever worked with. Again, I wasn't 20 years old like I was in the beginning, so my attitude had matured with regard to work and responsibilities. And although I'm a bit of a workaholic, so I had to learn to balance my life more after having my daughter between work and family, and then allow myself some time for myself in the end. And that's what I thought retirement would bring. But what my father taught me was, it's all up to you. Retirement doesn't mean do nothing. Dad said, I want to feel useful and helpful. And he was right. It provided him a very active life to 100 years and 6 months. So there are several interests that I follow. My daughter introduced this to me, but that's one of many interests that I have. And I'm grateful for her opportunity to bring me forward into the technological advances that exist. And I'm excited. But to me, work is a positive thing. Now, if I had been in a situation where I did not like what I did, I would either change what I did or be very miserable. And I think there are a lot of people that stay in a situation either out of security or good money or whatever their choice. But I knew that if I didn't like what I did, I didn't want to be there, or who I was with, actually, on one occasion. And it makes a difference to love what you do. So that's been my work experience thus far. And now the new chapter has begun. What's your insight?
Yeah, my experience with work, I guess I can start with the fact that I'm a creative, and I come from a mom and dad who are both in the medical field, a majority of their working careers. So I was kind of like, hey, but I don't want to be in the medical field, and I'm artsy, and it was a little bit harder to find my path. So I felt like when I was a teenager, I either want to pursue fashion design or hairstyling. And I chose hairstyling first because at the time I was a lot more fearful at 18. I didn't want to leave my home state. I didn't want to leave my parents. It took a while to take any leap of faith, really. But I'm a creative individual, and
you were very good in cosmetology.
Thanks, Mom.
Very gifted.
Yeah, no, it was such a fun creative outlet to do hairstyling. I also liked that I helped make people feel better. You know, there's nothing like getting your hair shampooed and styled and cut the way you like. It feels awesome. So it was very rewarding for a few years. But I guess to go like a little deep, there's still a little bit of not superficiality, because I think you do so much for someone, even by doing something aesthetically, it changes how you feel inside, how you look outside. But there's a little bit of superficiality as you're coming to find out we're both pretty deep individuals, and I couldn't go this deep, at least with communication, long term. Like, I knew that hairstyling wasn't the end all for me, but it was a fun, expressive outlet. And in my 20s, I didn't. You tried to help, but I didn't fully have the finances figured out. I didn't know how to budget. I didn't do any of those things, and I also didn't even have as much passion for it. I had more passion for just like self-expression and creativity. I felt fulfilled in the results I achieved in giving someone the hair color they wanted. I had a feeling of rewarding feeling from doing the process of doing the color, not so much the outcome of how much am I going to earn this week. It didn't click for me, because money is not everything, but I am finding it is very important, and it does give you more opportunities. Money does. So anyway, I probably knew 1 year into doing hair that I didn't want to do it forever. And then that turned into 2 years of knowing, 3 years of knowing, 4 years of knowing. And I go, hey, like, I thought to myself, I want to pursue fashion. And I had a lot of changes that happened. I mentioned in a previous podcast around 26, 27. Part of my spiritual awakening was like, someone saw me, and like, there's so much more to me than just what I was doing for the first 5 years of my 20s. So I was like, okay, it's time to change everything. And I went back for my first bachelor's degree, as I mentioned, during my Saturn return. And I'm pursuing fashion design because I do love fashion. I love it as self-expression. It would be amazing to have my own collection, because once again, to beat to my drum of authenticity, I would love to create something that's just what I envision, and I hope others would enjoy it too. But also, like, new things, like new doors open all throughout life, and sometimes you just have to be open-minded to take a risk or to walk through a new door. So a lot of things are transpiring in my current reality where I'm like, oh, well, my path career-wise, it could go a few different ways, and so I'm very open-minded right now. But I still have 1.5 years of my degree, so I want to knock that out. I've been working so hard, and I have other business ventures, and we have this podcast now, which I'm super excited about, because I just want to connect with my mom. I want to connect with anyone listening. I hope something I say resonates with someone out there. That's just the hope. And we talked about feeling satisfied, and as we started this podcast, like, I feel satisfied after filming an episode. It feels really good, and I feel satisfied in other ways too. Also, bringing entrepreneurship, I think that thread just like runs through the family, through the generations, on both of my sides of the family, because my dad's tried to do his own business in the past too. Oh, I've always wanted to work for myself, Mom. I am going to work for myself. I'm the same way. I feel more satisfied working for myself. I feel doesn't everyone like to kind of be in control in what they do and what they want to do, how they want to do it, when they want to do it? I know I do.
I think the situation with COVID for our culture definitely did have some people working from home and kind of realizing the individualness that required. I also like, this is off the subject of Blink,
okay,
to bring you back to your career.
Yeah.
With you going to school for fashion and merchandising, your eye for style, where you live, there was a beautiful boutique. And what happened when you walked in the door to look at the beautiful clothes?
Yeah, I feel like more opportunities that align with my true self have been presented to me in the last 3 years. Yeah, I walked into a boutique that really caught my eye. Of course, the full sparkled like midi dress, it was just, yeah, all sequins, caught my eye. So I walk in, and it's totally my aesthetic, and the owner was there, and we hit it off immediately, and she liked how I was dressed, and then I briefly told her I was pursuing my degree in fashion design, and she pretty much offered me a job within 10 minutes. She was just like, are you looking for work? I was like, I mean, I could work part-time, yeah. Well, I'm in school full-time, but yeah, I would like to work part-time. She's like, great, you could have this role. I need someone a couple days a week. She's like, you can send me your resume too, but like, I was hired. So it was just,
And what's exciting about the owner? What's the other tie-in there? Is she the owner and the designer?
she is. Mm-hmm.
So that was a nice coincidence.
Personally, I don't know if I want a brick and mortar store. Personally, we'll see. But even to have like a collection in boutiques one day, I would love that. So it's giving me life experience, knowledge that I didn't have a few months ago.
In addition to your hair career, you were working part-time because you are a single mom and you had to feed yourself and your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
There were a couple of jobs you didn't enjoy.
Oh, there's been many jobs I didn't enjoy.
But you did them because it
I knew that,
paid the bills.
yeah, and my attitude's different. Like when I was younger, I was just kind of like, you just keep going on your hamster wheel, you keep going, and then I don't really live on a hamster wheel anymore. I know that opportunities serve their purpose,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that I can get off the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be okay. Now it's good to have the logic factor come in, and you've always instilled in me, make sure you have something else before ending the thing you're going to end. Don't always have to do that relationally, but when it comes to job,
I didn't do that relationally. No.
don't do that relationally, but do that with jobs and your professional life. It is good to do that, although there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there that kind of take a leap of faith when they have very little and they succeed.
That's right. Yeah, the drive is amazing. Or even if it's not in your makeup to be the entrepreneur, you definitely be part of an incredible team. Let's say that Amber chooses to do her fashion merchandising and develops this incredible line that involves a whole network of people that will help her do what her passion is, that don't want to be the boss. And
That's true. Some people,
yeah, it opens doors.
Yeah,
It definitely does. And I actually, when I was an entrepreneur with my ultrasound business, there was a network of us. There wasn't very many of us doing this at the time, and we're still a commodity. But we developed a team atmosphere in that we would meet once a month and go over diagnostic, not the individuals themselves, but what we found and how can we improve, and it was very, very good. I think another thing with being a woman, which has changed over the years, I've observed, is that it wasn't as much of a teamwork atmosphere growing up as a little girl when I grew up. Now there were a few sports involved, and I did partake in those, and I did show horses with friends. But I think there is been a huge change in our culture about potentially having people work as a group, and
I also love how much more women are self-empowered nowadays too.
yes, in fact, I just recently had a thing come up on my phone that talked about middle-aged girls in middle school aged girls. That there's a whole series of different books on empowerment for middle school girls, and I read quite a bit when I was younger and enjoyed it very much, and still read a lot. And I was excited.
Yeah.
That it was really being advertised and shown that what's available. You always hear about the pirate adventures, and again, that's very stereotypical. But anyway, I'm excited about the different things about that. In that light, I'm going to tie that in with our subject of success.
Mm-hmm. What does success mean to you?
It's the ability to achieve my aim and goals. Oftentimes, I think when I was younger, I would have thought monetary success, professional success, success with my family. But now it's the ability to achieve my aims and goals, whatever they may be. I particularly take note, again, I keep bringing up my life-changing situation, but I have to look in the mirror every day and say, have you had a good day today, Sue-Ann? Have you been kind to others? Have you been kind to yourself? Because if you're not kind to yourself, it's hard to be kind to others. And to me, that's a sign of success. As I said before, the past is gone and the future isn't here yet, so what did I do today? That to me is success. Have I loved well? Have I been of service? Again, not everybody has these different callings, but everybody has some type of gift or calling. And to me, that's success. Any comments on you and success?
Yeah, I'm still on my journey to figure out what success means to me. And I feel like I'm understanding it a lot more as the years go by. I feel like for me it's like it's really personal and really deep. I feel like it's very inwards. As in yeah, you having a healthy relationship with yourself is huge to me. Just a healthy inner dialogue and a healthy rapport mentally with oneself. Because yeah, how I've already tried. I haven't always had the healthiest experiences outward with others, but it's probably because I didn't take the time to truly get to know. I know it's because I didn't take the time to truly get to know myself. And now I'm working on it. 3.5 years alone, that'll help you learn more about yourself. And I'm not fearful of how many more years it could be single, alone. There's so much that you get to work on and develop, and you get to experience new experiences and new connections and new relationships and new friendships. But yeah, befriending yourself and having that healthy relationship is a definition of success. Yeah, also personally, having healthy relationships outwards with others means success to me. I would love a healthy romantic relationship one day. I want the close friendships I have to remain healthy, positive friendships. And professionally, we already discussed this, like I feel the entrepreneur drive. I feel more rewarded and satisfied in that mindset, in that role. That would mean success for me, to be able to support myself financially, to feel independent, to feel that sense of stability, and it's all coming from me.
In addition to what you've said, what my observation has been being a grandmother, a mother, is the success that you have in your relationship with your daughter. I think watching her light up when you walk in her room and you realizing her individuality.
Oh yeah.
She's very sensitive and emotional, and we know we're genetically inclined to that. But you're able to realize what she needs from you too, as a parent.
Right. If she wants to be a cat, she wants to be a cat.
She's 6.
She is 6.
I was a horse at 6. She's a cat at 6.
No, I thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, because yes, I've always wanted to be a mom, and I am a mom. So that mother-daughter relationship, mother-child relationship is very important to me. So I just want to continue to improve on her and I's dynamic as well.
I know my mother wanted a closer relationship with me, but being in that era, she also wanted me to be a certain way. And I've told Amber this many times. If you don't like something that I've done, please do it a different way. And that's what I took away from my mother's experience, that what worked was amazing, what didn't work was challenging. And I wanted it to be different between my daughter and myself. I wanted to embrace whoever she was that she turned out to be. And I got what I asked for. She is very her own self, very creative, very skilled. And her emotions are much more on the surface. Now, I'm sensitive, yes, but I do try to suppress
like my heart's on my sleeve.
Oh yeah, you wear it on your sleeve. Yeah. And, and that's who you are, and that's okay. It's who you are.
Actually, I've heard from some close friends, it's a beautiful thing, but it's very, very sensitive sometimes.
Well, and it's kind of like a wave. You know, you ride the wave when you're emotional. You know, any emotion. Emotions are motion. So I'm only taking that from another person, not myself. But that's how that person described emotions. Emotions are motion. So you can ride a wave up and then it plateaus, or you can ride a wave really down and then the next day it's different, and it goes in cycles. Part of it too is the stories we take from the outer world when you're young. Some are good stories, some are bad stories, some are helpful stories, some are very unhelpful stories. And we believe them to be truths until we understand that, hey, that was not a true story about me. Some of it is true, but a lot of it's not, and you take that on. So that's part of life too, is sifting through what's the not self and what is the real self. And again, that's what I mentioned when Amber came in with this human design. It definitely gave her agenda of what she came in to do. But we all have agendas, and we all get there eventually. But it's very freeing to let go of what is not truly you, and discovering what is truly you. And
That's success.
that is success. That is success. And get that monkey mind. Stop talking about those stories that aren't true, and let yourself be successful because you are. And on that note,
I love it.
have a great day.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.